As I'm sure you all know, listening is extremely important. It's one of the most important things we do. It is the lifeblood of communication. And there are many ways that we do it wrong, however, which will hold us back in life and make everything we do harder. So, there are some ways that we can fix that. And there are some bad habits that we have, however. One of these bad habits is pretending to listen. Sometimes we just sit back and we just close our brains and we just don't do anything. We might nod along, we might say, yeah, sure. But we're not really listening. We're not giving any feedback. We're not adding anything to the conversation. We're just nodding along, pretending like we're doing something, which we're not. Then there's glazing over, which is like advanced pretending to listen, except you're not pretending to listen at all. You just kind of exist like a potato with that person. They're talking at you, and you're just potato. And that's horrible. And then there's a closed-mindedness. That's when you are listening, but you're just refusing to listen to what they're saying. You're probably disagreeing with everything that they say because you just will not agree with this. It's probably something that you'll never agree with because you're being closed-minded. You need to open up. You need to fully understand everything that is said to you. You need to know the people that are talking to you, and you need to know how to respond to them. You cannot just be closed-minded. Then there's a competitive interruption. That's when you're constantly interrupting a person. You're trying to take the conversation, take it where you want to take it, but it's their conversation. It's both of your conversations. It's a two-way street, if you will. You can't just take it where you want to. You can't just constantly try to take the conversation where you want it to go, because they get to decide as well. But it's also sometimes the other person's fault, to be honest. They can contribute to making your listening more difficult. And some of these issues are distractions. It's very easy for other things to get in the way, or sounds is a big one. Obviously, if you're trying to listen, you can't have a jackhammer going in the background. That'll really understand what they're saying and not just pretend like you understood what they said. You can't just not understand them. And then there's information overloads. This is a pretty big one, especially if you're giving instructions to someone. If you're just lay on tons of instructions and you just tell them a million different things to do, this massive list, obviously they're not going to be understand all of that. It's also, there's like emotional overloads. If you tell someone, like, give them really big news all at once, and then you start telling them this other thing, and you just give them millions of different things to think about at once, they're not going to fully absorb everything they need to listen to. And then there's the tendency to refute everything that they say. That's also a big one, because if someone is just disagreeing with you at every single turn, it's impossible to get anything done, any communication done. You'll just end up talking in circles, and that's no good. And there are some ways we can get around these difficulties. There's simply paying attention, just listen up. Don't be a potato. Absorb what you're hearing and just understand. And that takes me to understanding. You need to understand what they're telling you. You need to not only listen and absorb and understand in that sense, but also be understanding in the sense not to just disagree with them. It's going back to the tendency to review everything. And so that's very important. You need to, if they're telling you something that you don't disagree with, you need to give them a chance to fully understand what they're telling you. You can't just completely refuse everything that they say. So asking questions. You need to fully understand what they're saying. You need to ask questions so then you can receive information back from them. They can get information from you. You'll live in harmony of understanding. So, it is very important to understand how to listen, and we all have some very bad habits. So it's good to get over those habits and understand what we need to do, because listening is one of the most important things we'll ever do. Without listening, we'll get nowhere in the world, and we'll just not understand anything.